Hey guys, this is Nostalgia. So, it's been a little while since I've recorded a video, and that's because, well, I'm not gonna get, I'm not gonna get into that too much. I just had a little injury, so I couldn't use my right hand for a little while, but we're back into it now, and another, this kind of contributed to this a little bit, the fact that I haven't recorded in a while, is that this video took a fair bit of prep. This is going to be a stash reveal video, and the prep was actually mainly just organizing my shared stash and moving some stuff from some of the personal stashes in the shared stash that I meant to put in there at some point. So it doesn't really matter too much which character I go into this on, because the vast majority of the items are going to be in the shared stash anyway. Okay, I'm not going to focus on this specific character too much, mainly just the shared stash. I will show off what I'm using for my current AT setup. This isn't the gear I showed off in the AT video. This is kind of like a tier down from that gear. It's still very it's still a very respectable setup, other than the fact that this needs socketed. It's just kind of another AT build. You could see, even though I have 432 MF, I still hit most of 9k to 9k blizzard damage here because I'm using 5 skillers now, actually. I found another one recently, but I'm not going to focus on that too much. And the personal stash, for my Sorc, this is my main character. This is the first character I made, and what I started my PlugY off with is my sorceress here. So I mainly started by doing Mephisto runs very early in my PlugY here. I actually started this PlugY account in June of last year. So I was playing on this Sorc for really the vast majority of that time since. The only character that gets close to her in level is my Charge Strike Javazon, which is about halfway to level 93 from 92. So I'll show off a few of these items. This one's okay. It's not great. I don't. I mean, the thing it has over Shaco's, it has all res, but I wouldn't really use it unless I were to put like an Istrune in it, to be honest. This is purely just for getting a decent level chilling armor without having to invest points, but I'm not even going to use that on this character because I'm using bow anyway. And this is the second CTA I made. 2-4, I don't care about the battle cry roll, but 2-4 is okay. I'm fairly I'm not super happy with that. It's decent enough. The main thing is the battle orders roll, which 4 is pretty decent. Alright, it's just a few other things in here. Nothing too special. Some MF gear. I don't even know why I have this Ormus sitting here. This Sorc actually has a lot of my items, some of which I still plan to move in my shared stash. Here we have like some lifer, small charms, and large charms. Like some resistance charms. Some of these are pretty bad. Nothing too special. And then we got like kind of the misc charms here. Nothing too interesting there. A lot of my good charms are on my actual characters, as you might expect. And then these are just for crafting runes up, other than the perfect ones. So we got topazes here, and just each of the gems. Oh yeah, I have some Rao runes here too. And I think I had these here for crafting caster amulets, if I remember correctly. But I'm mainly keeping up a stock of the different kinds of P-gems for rerolling grand charms, and I was recently informed that you can reroll magic Amazon javelins with, what am I saying? with P-gems, actually, so I might be doing that a fair bit. We got some circlet items here to reroll and some P skulls. I actually have a ridiculous amount of flawless skulls stored up, and there's only some on this character, but there's a ridiculous amount on some of my other characters. Here's the gear from the Travancore video. Most of it is from the Travancore video anyway. We got some of my light Sorc gear. I don't know what that's doing there, don't ask. Um, yeah, I got some of my fire gear too because my fire Sorc setup uses pretty similar gear to my light Sorc setup. Just some other miscellaneous Sorc gear here, an Aussie. I haven't really bothered isting this. I don't think I've ever used Aussie in like the past 6 months. I mean, if you put an ist in it, it's pretty decent for just magic finding. But I can't stand the teleport. It drives me insane. This is actually gear for my melee Sorc. So Passion, Andes, Tiamats, because of the, not only the all-res, but the actual elemental damage on a melee Sorc setup gets boosted a ridiculous amount by masteries. We got some decent Merc armor there. Yeah, that sort of thing. Pre-buff gear for the melee Sorc setup. And not too much else. Wisp. This is just more light Sorc gear, right? And that's pretty much it for the Sorc's stash. I mean, for all my other characters, pretty much, there's not really a lot in the personal pages. It's mainly just with this character because she's my main character, and I haven't bothered to move a lot of the stuff I found into the shared stash. Okay, so this first page of the shared stash are some of my better charms. There's some fairly decent ones here, especially these four are pretty sweet. We got some kind of utility ones, a bow for shopping. Sort of a neat small charm there, nothing too amazing. This is probably the overall best rare ring I've found, period, in my history of playing Diablo 2. Um, I totally freaked out when I found this thing. Like, this is crazy. I mean, obviously it could be better. It could have more mana steal. It could have more attack rating. It could have life steal instead of poison damage. But I don't know. I'd say this is pretty GG, to be honest. And yeah, just some other miscellaneous charms. I got some of my better jewelry on this page. I'm not going to show off too much of this, but I'll just kind of scroll through it a little bit. Some of the stuff is pretty decent. And then we got some of my better rare items. I thought this one was kind of neat. I don't know. I don't know if I'm really ever going to use it. I just kept it just because I thought it was neat, really. I mean, yeah. I always wanted like a decent rare with Fool's Mod on it. Unfortunately, the enhanced damage on this one is too low for it to really be all that great. If this thing had like 300% enhanced damage, I think it'd be fairly GG. Alright, so then we got just some other rares, nothing too special. This one's not that great. It's some of these are just not that great, but they have, I don't know, just rare item rolls in one way or another. So I keep them for that reason. I mean, some of these you could argue I should really just toss out. Like this one, when am I going to use that? But see, the thing is, this is PlugY, so I can store pretty much as many items as I want. So I'm pretty much going to do that. I'm not going to pick up every dumb cracked sash that drops on the floor. There's obviously a point where it gets to be not worth picking up certain items. So here's like some of my sort of decent crafted ammies. And I think there's a couple of rare ones mixed in. Yeah, there's that one. This one isn't that great, but we got like some 2-scaler type of crafted ammies. Here's my spare annies. Here's probably the rarest item I've ever found in Diablo 2. Yeah, Jeweler's Monarch of Deflecting. I was pretty amazed when I found this thing. I think by this point I've probably identified about 120 blue monarchs, so I probably got pretty lucky with this. Here's all my geeds. Well, not all my geeds actually. A lot of these are my crappiest geeds because my best geeds are actually on my other characters. Here's my very best geeds as far as I'm concerned. I'm not really as concerned about the gold find. What is it, like 80 to 160? So this is kind of a low roll on the gold find. Blah. But it's 40-15, so who cares basically. All right. So kind of a few neat shields here. And these really aren't that great. You could argue I shouldn't really be keeping some of these. Here's some circlets. I'm not going to spend too much time on these. These are just like okay but not great sort of stuff. Here's just some here's just some rare items that I thought were interesting that I don't know if I'm really going to use necessarily, but that I just kept just because I thought they were interesting, really. And sort of a similar thing over here, right? Nothing too amazing there. This one I don't know if I should really be keeping this at all. I don't know. This one's kind of neat to me anyway. And page 10 is runewords. I tried to e-bug an ornate plate and it got 2 sockets, so I just decided to put a smoke in it. I mean, I put a smoke in it whenever it rolls 2 sockets on an e-bug, pretty much, because that's the only thing you would use in it, really. This I actually do use when leveling my melee characters, so for like early to mid Nightmare, I use this on my melee characters. It's pretty cheap, too. So here's my first Crescent Moon. I made this in a Berserker Axe. That was a mistake. I should have made it in a Phase Blade, because with a Berserker Axe, like if you're using this on a Tesladen, you have to repair it all the freaking time. Okay? So then we just got some more rune words here. Stealth, you know, like for leveling a Sorceress, or just pretty much any caster, I guess. Another decent smoke, I guess. And I have a few insights and malices just kind of littered around these pages here. We got an Eth Black for style points. I don't even know. Oh yeah, this is for my smiting setup. I pretty much never use smiter. When I fight Ubers, I tend to just use a Fanat Zealer, although you could argue a smiter is just more effective for Ubers. But I have this just for if I want to use it on a smiter, to be honest, because I mean, it's really just for style points. And that's pretty much it. We got an Obedience and a G-Thresher. Yeah, I mean, Obedience. Brunsky showed this off in one of his videos. It's a pretty OP rune word for the kind of runes it takes. I can't remember if I have an Eth base that I can make one in, to be honest. I probably don't. Oh yeah, here we got a Lawbringer Phase Blade. This one's pretty neat for leveling up melee characters. And that's it for my rune words that are just kind of laying around in my shared stash, pretty much. These are crafted gloves that are not really that great. These are just kind of the extras, as it were. Here we have my spare crafted ammies. These are ones that are like mediocre that I should probably toss out. You can kind of see I'm kind of a pack rat, but PlugY will do that to most players, I'd suspect. On pages 20 through 30, we got some socketed items. Most of these I picked up very early on in my PlugY, so a lot of them aren't really valuable at all. I'll show you, I mean, some of the later ones are okay. I'll show you my actual more valuable socketed items, because I do have a section for the more recent socketed items I've picked up. But I'm not going to show those off too much. Here we have like socketed shields and class helms, just for God knows what reason. And more socketed armor here. So, rare weapons here. I don't think there's anything too special here that I really need to show off. I'll just hover over a few of these. I mean, a lot of these have Fool's Mod, but just not high enough enhanced damage. You could argue I should probably do what, whoever it was. I think it was Ubeo who did a stash reveal recently and just had like a couple of rares. I don't know, was it Ubeo? I can't remember. Some other smaller D2 YouTuber had like 2 rare items in his stash, or maybe scratch that. It was more like 4 or 5, but just the ones that are probable that you're actually going to use, right? So you could argue I should do something more like that, but I don't know. I kind of like hoarding, just kind of because I can and I want to, basically. I don't really have a lot of other justification for it than that. Um, these are just kind of random rings and ammies. These are mostly for leveling. I'll scroll over a few of these. You see, like, nothing too special. Some of the later, I keep going through items and saying, oh, like, this is crap, that's crap. Uh, we get to some of the better items later in this. These are like my okay jewels, sort of okay jewels, and then we get into some of the better ones. These aren't too great, but here's some decent ones. These are like the sort of mid-tier ones, and then we get to the really good ones here. Well, actually, these ones aren't so great. These are the good ones. Here we go. Yeah. These ones here, and especially these ones down here. I'm going to scroll through these a little bit slower. You see those? Yeah. And then these are just some more kind of mid-tier ones. You might be wondering, like, why would I keep, like, a plain 15 IAS jewel? Or a nearly plain 15 IAS jewel? I tend to use them on my Amazon for experimenting with different setups. So that's pretty much why. 90 to 100 is like random gold and magic find type stuff. So I'm not going to spend too much on these. And also like faster run walk for shop running. Nothing too special there, so I'm not going to focus on that. Okay, so now we're getting to some of the more interesting stuff. Okay, so page 100 to 200 are my unique items. And I could post in the description if someone wants to see what unique items I'm still missing, but I have it posted in my channel description. If you disclude facets, it's about 35 left that I have yet to find. So I'm just gonna scroll through these quickly. I mean, for experienced players, you're gonna pretty much know what all these are, and you're gonna have seen them before. And as you can see, I have a lot of duplicates. I have an Azurath on my what is it? My Zealot Paladin. So I've actually did find 2 Azuraths, which I'm pretty happy about. So it goes swords, then axes, and then maces. Here's a few Rune Masters, a couple of 5OS ones. This one's pretty high rolled. No F Rune Masters yet, though. I mean, even if I did find one, finding a Zod Rune to stick in one of them is... I mean, if I found a Zod Rune, I probably wouldn't stick it in a Rune Master first anyway, to be honest. I don't really know what I would use a Zod Rune for if I found one. I'd probably save it, just in case I found like an I don't know, some sort of really rare ethereal item. I actually have more of these items. I have a better Redeemer. I think it's like 106 on the damage roll on my Paladin. And I have another Heaven's Light that I think has 2 shells in it. But yeah, we got some of the unique maces here. These are the really common ones. Most of these are in my section for duplicate uniques. And yeah, you can see I found a couple of Storm Lashes here. So I'm pretty happy about that. I actually didn't find... I don't think any... I didn't find any Shafers yet. So I have these 3 Stone Crushers here, though. So, I don't know. I don't really know what you would use these on. I'm sure there's some sort of use for these, though. Maybe like a... I don't know, like a Smiter build? Possibly? I'm not sure. I don't know. If if any of you guys know about what you would use a Stone Crusher for, let me know in the comments. So here we have some bows. A lot of my decent bows are in my actual Boazon on's personal stash, like the Wind Force. Probably some of the best rolled Gold Strike arches I have in there. Oh, I found 2 of these Blood Ravens charges. Yeah, I don't really know what you would use these for. It just seems like they're not really that great, to be honest. Wind Force is, on the other hand. And we got some of the crossbows here. I found this recently, actually. Got Siphon here. I think I've only found 1 of these ever. to be honest. I want to say I found it in pits, but I can't quite remember. And, you know, you guys know what these are. Pretty much, anyway. Here's the rolls on these rib crackers. Unfortunately, no ethereal ones just yet. We got these daggers here. I think I have a bunch of Wizzy Spikes in the duplicate section. I've probably found like 15 of these. I found a Ghost Flame a few months ago, and I think this is the only one I've ever found. So it's pretty cool to finally find one. I think this is probably one of the highest rarity TC87s, like probably in the top 20 if I'm not mistaken. So then we got some helmets. I decided to upgrade one of these Tarn helms. I don't really know what possessed me to do that. And I found I'm kind of hoping for more ethereal vamp gazes soon, because I've only found one, and it's kind of crappy. It's like 6 life leech, 16 DR, or something like that. And these Valkyrie rings, I actually found 2 of these off of one of the LK armor racks when I was farming that. And I've actually found, I think, about 5 Annie's visages, but most of them are just spread out across my characters, to be honest. And I've actually, I think I got kind of lucky on this, because I've only found, I think 1, maybe 2 Veils of Steel, and I found 2 Nightwings. And I've probably found about 12 Shakos, but again, I have Shakos on like all my characters. I'm trying to think what, oh yeah, if I found a Griffin's Eye, it would go like right here, I think. Or maybe I'd have Kira's here and like Griffin's here. I can't remember exactly how I wanted to organize it. But yeah, I've actually never found a Griffin's. I've, as you can see, I found 2 Crown of Ages though. If you saw my Ancient Tunnels magic finding video, the first one, then you would have actually seen me finding this on video. So I was pretty excited that I managed to catch that on video, to be honest. For some reason, the TC3 items seem to be pretty rare in Hell. So I actually didn't find one of these until recently. So yeah, I mean, we just have the glove section here. I keep finding these soul drainers, even though there's from Mephisto too, oftentimes, even though they're supposed to be rarer from Mephisto than Arachnid's Mesh, which I actually have only found 1, and it's ethereal. We got some of the belts here. Nothing too special. Again, like a lot of these items, I have like more duplicates of some of these, like Snowclash and Razortail and Dungos, but a lot of them are like spread out through my other characters. So then we have the boots, as you can see, and I'm just going to go through these quickly. This would be the spot for, what's it called, Shadow Dancers. Yeah, the unique Myrmidon Greaves, but I actually haven't found a Shadow Dancers yet. I did find 1 Ethereal Sandstorm Trek, and I'll show you guys that in a bit. Okay, you see there's another there's another little open space here. I still have yet to find Blinkbat's form, so I'll just go through these armors. You can see them real quick. I'll try not glance over them too quickly, but I'm sure for anyone who's watching this who's played the game that much, pretty much knows what all these are. And you can see I tend to keep a lot of duplicates. And really, that's kind of just because it's PlugY. Alright. And here we have some of the rare armor, really just this line mainly. I've I think only found 1 Steel Carapace ever. With these Gladbanes though, I'm surprised I haven't found more of these. This is actually pretty cool too. You can see I stuck a Shale Rune in here, so now this is like crazy OP Merc armor, 50 FHR. And here's the only Arcane's Valor I've ever found. Kind of surprisingly. Here's unique jewelry. We got Dwarves, Ravens, Eyes of Etlich, Nokazans, Mahim, that sort of thing. And then here's my facets. I've socketed, I think, 4 or 5 of these now. One of them is in here. And here's like my less common unique jewelry. So Crescent, Rising, Scarsons. I think I found like 2 or 3 of each of these. Especially these ones are mixed through a lot of my characters because I've been using some of these. I do have a metal grid, but I can't remember where I can't remember which character I left it on. It's probably on one of my barbs, to be honest. So here we have like throwing weapons, as you can see. And I've only found one lacerator. And here's a halberd's rein. Pretty difficult item to find there. I think it's TC-87, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, if I have this right, this is a kind of a crap roll. And you can see this one, I put, what was it? Oh yeah, you can see here, I put a 15 cold res, 15 attack speed jewel in here. So it's pretty GG now. I might upgrade it, in fact, but that'll jack the strength requirement up a fair bit. So we got unique shields here. Yeah, nothing too special. Okay, look at how many storm shields I have. This is stupid. Okay, and I've even found like 10 more than this. I have one on my Javazon. You saw there was one in my Sorc stash. I have found too many of these. Stop dropping them. Goddamn monsters in Mephisto. Yeah, I could just not pick them up. I don't know. I just like the novelty of having like 10 storm shields sitting on the same page in my stash. And here's like some of the rarest unique shields, I guess. We got a couple of Medusas. We got Spirit Wart, which is a really rare item, I'm pretty sure. Couple of Alma Negras, couple of Hawses. I also have another Hawes on my Pally. One thing I haven't found is a Dragon Scale, so that's what this spot is for here. Then we got like Necro Wands, that sort of thing. And we got unique spears. As you can see, I think I found pretty much all of these except for Steel Pillar, the unique war, or not, I was about to say War Spear, the unique War Pike. Guessing it's TC-87. I think it's one of the rarer TC-87s also. It's probably like just below the 10 rarest TC-87s in the game, really. And we got a Stormspire here. I think I've only found one of these, to be honest, and I'm not really sure what use it has either. So we got a few of these here. Found a couple of these, that sort of thing. Okay, so 190. We got like some of my rare armor. You know, just kind of decent stuff that I might use at some point. Nothing too special. That sort of thing. I mean, a lot of these are... I kind of keep a lot of the rarest because I might have a character build, and it's like, oh yeah, I don't really need anything else from my boot slot other than like 27 poison res and 32 fire res, or something really obscure like that. So that's kind of why I keep a lot of rare boots around. And then we got the sets. I'm just going to scroll through these kind of quickly, because you guys probably know what these are. And we got the full Mav set. I think I've found 3 of these. Maybe just 2 of these diadems. I can't quite remember. And there's one of these soul cages on my barb. So I've actually found 3 Immortal King soul cages, to be honest. And I found the second Telling of Beads recently. So we got a few of these other ones here. We got a couple of the wards. I found this... Griswold's crown a little while back. Unfortunately, this is the only of the rarer Griswold pieces that I've found yet. I still have yet to find the cicada, I never know how to pronounce that. Is it Cicadus or Caduceus? I'm guessing it's Caduceus. I always read it as Cicadus. I don't know why. Probably no reason really. So here's Bull Cathos dual membership. We got 2 of each. And we got a couple of the Cow King pieces, because I farm cows every so often. And here we got like very early game gear, stuff that I just keep for leveling my characters. This one, kind of niche use. A lot of them are, really, to be honest. These are, so we got like, I'll put like jewels in here that I think probably have some occasional use for leveling characters, but aren't like crappy enough that I just want to like use them for crafting. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is really just for leveling characters. Just some bases, that sort of thing. Nothing too special here. This is pretty decent for a level 17 item there. And then we got all of my all of my worse uh, worse out of my mantled heels and nagel rings. I'm just storing in here for if I want to use them to level up characters. You could say like for organization's sake, maybe I should keep all my unique jewelry together. But I don't know. Like I've probably found like 30 nagel rings, so I don't know. It's like how much stash space on one page should I really be using for that? I mean, I could have like a page of just nagel rings or whatever. And 300 here is like really kind of leveling stuff too. Just like stamina charms, just in case I want to get through like the first 10 levels of a character easily. And then like 310 through 325 are like kind of sort of okay charms that I might want to use at some points. So I'll just show a few of them off here. Nothing too special. And then 350 through, well, 350 to 400. These are like my bases that I might want to take to Larzik and socket at some point. Some of these earlier ones that I put in here, I might really not use ever. But, and here you get to see how many frickin' white monarchs I have. I haven't even picked up the last like 10 white monarchs that I've found, really, to be honest. And there's still like a ridiculous amount of them in here. I mean, some of these are okay. These aren't like my really good bases. These are just like okay bases that I might want to use at some point. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'm not going to put like, there's no like ethereal berserker axes or anything like that in this section here. So yeah. 400 through 410 is just crafting jewels and also crafting jewelry. And then we got some more random materials for crafting here, like gloves and that sort of thing. Vampire bone gloves. Okay, so here's some pretty cool stuff. Oh yeah, this video is getting to be kind of long, so probably what I'm going to do is put timestamps in the description for people who are coming to this video and don't really want to go through the whole thing. These, I'll scroll over these a little bit more slowly. These are some of my best bases that there's a decent chance I'm going to use eventually. Like, or for example, these, I actually have two of these Eth Cryptic swords. I might want to make them into oaths at some point. This is just a style point CTA base. It's ethereal, so I might make a CTA in it for style, as opposed to using a non-ethereal CTA. Like, these are kind of the best bases that I have at the moment. Oh yeah, and when I was showing off my RuneWords page, I also have a death, but I think it might just be sitting on one of my characters somewhere. I don't know, for some reason it wasn't in the stash page. I might show that off later though. I'm not going to focus on this too much, but here I just have a few pages for like gear that I might want to use to level my Sorc, including a Hodo. And we got all my rejuves here. Bunch of rejuves. And then we got like items that I might want to imbue, including some diadems. 550 is like actually some of the fairly decent bases that I might want to use for some RuneWords eventually. You know, stuff like not super GG Archon plate, but like decent, that sort of thing. And then we got like socketed weapons, 600, and so on. And I don't think there's anything else until about 698 here. We got, these are my ethereal unique duplicates. So then we got more, so then these are the non-duplicate ethereal uniques that I have. So I'll just scroll through these quickly. You can kind of see what most of these are. Some of these are pretty rare, like at Thorazon's Tornado, the ultimate troll item in the game, my only arachnid mesh. Krugers, if you're watching this, I feel your pain, men. We got, this is pretty cool, Ethereal Sandstorm Trex. really like these. I don't know, it's something kind of cool about being able to use an ethereal item, not just on your merc, but on your main character when you get the chance to do that. I don't know, there's just something kind of neat about it. Some of these are kind of rare. Some of these, not really so much. These ones aren't too common, I don't think. Find an Eth Stone Spear. This is kind of cool. We got an Eth Bone Hew. I think I have a couple F Bone Hews. I can't remember where I stuck the other one, though. 750, we got a few rare items. Nothing too special there. Okay, so then these are my unique duplicates. So these are, like 100 to 200 was all my actual unique items that are just kind of the display pages, basically, for the Holy Grail, because this is a Holy Grail account. It's not a Holy Grail character. The idea is I'm trying to find every item in the game just across all my characters, so you could say it's a bit easier than like a Holy Grail Sorc. Although, I mean, if you want to find every item in the game, unless you're going to make a Pit Zerker with Enigma, pretty much the best way of finding every unique inset in the game is a Blizzard Sorceress in Ancient Tunnels. So we just have some of my other duplicates here of just different unique items. Some of these aren't too special. We got, yeah. For some reason, I always find a lot of Windhammers. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, I don't know. Like for a mid-level unique elite item, it seems to show up quite a lot. And for some reason, these maces also show up a lot. Like you saw, I had a bunch of these on some other earlier pages, and then I have a ton more of these three items here over on these pages, just because they're so common. Then we got a couple of eagle horns, a couple more eagle horns. We got some of my Yeshudas, some other stuff like Wizzy Spike, just all the daggers over here, and then we got duplicate helmets, that sort of thing, duplicate Ormus robes, and so forth. Yeah, nothing too special on these pages. And then I stuck a Storm Shield here, and oh yeah, here's another Ethereal Bone Heal. So yeah, and then we got some duplicate set items, and these are items that I've shopped. This one's kind of neat. Another JMod item. So yeah, these are like items that I've shopped that I kind of want to keep for one reason or another. I don't know, I think some of them are kind of cool. And here's like my spare skillers. These are all the skillers that I don't have sitting on one of my characters. So I don't really have a lot of them just sitting in here because I have a lot of characters on my PlugY and they tend to use a lot of skillers. And last thing, here's my runes. And so I have one page for each kind of rune in the game, up until and including Lem, and then less space for the higher runes, just because I'm going to find less of them. And here's my high runes here. I don't really have a lot of them because if you watched my Charge Strike Javazon video, I already made Chains of Honor and Infinity, and as you saw, I also made Heart of the Oak, I also made the Death, so I've made some fairly expensive rune words, so I only have so many high runes at my disposal at the moment. And this I actually found today. This is amazing. I kind of freaked out when I found it. As you can imagine, like who the hell could blame me? So that's it, guys. That's the stash reveal. Like I said, I started farming meth at the start of my PlugY account, and then I went into farming Ancient Tunnels, and that's where I found a lot of my Treasure Class 87 items. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later.